Hello and good morning, or maybe you're watching this in the evening or in the afternoon. Right now it's morning for me. Um, Whenever you're watching, I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you're watching this around like May 20th, it has been a gorgeous week full of sun, which we've been waiting for so long. So I think most of us are feeling pretty invigorated and looking forward to the summer. I know that I am. If you don't already have something, maybe go press pause and go grab a tea or a water or a coffee. I'm just finishing up my morning coffee. You might also want a notebook and a pen. I have included a slide presentation, but I always go off and I will say lots more things that may not be sort of written down in the slides. So that's something that you may want to go and do is grab a notebook and a pen. So to start off, my name is Rebecca Caravan. I am a certified nutritional practitioner, or you can also call me a holistic nutritionist, and I practice out of the Peterborough Center of Naturopathic Medicine here in East City. So today I'm going to talk to you about how you can age gracefully, live a life of vitality, and use nutrition and some other tools to do that. So let's start out by talking about what I do as a holistic nutritionist. So, as a holistic nutritionist, it is my job to not only use nutrition as a tool, but to use all different aspects of your lifestyle. So, when I have an initial consultation with a client, I am asking them tons of questions and I'm being really nosy in like all areas of their life. So, I'm asking you, what are you eating? When are you eating? What is your digestion like? Are you having regular bowel movements? And we will get into this, but what is a regular bowel movement? Sometimes a regular bowel movement to someone means that they're going once a week. That's not regular. Like I said, we'll get into this. Are you drinking enough water? Are you eating enough fiber? Are you moving your body? How are you moving your body? Are you doing like high intensity interval training and adding a lot more stress on your body than you need? Or are you doing yoga where we can like find something else that complements what you have going on and complements your lifestyle? What's your stress level like? Are you taking time for yourself? We get into all different areas of your life when you sit down and you have an initial consultation with me because I am interested in getting to the root cause of what you have going on. I don't want to just throw supplements at you or throw meal plans at you. I want to know what you need in your life. Maybe a meal plan is too much. Maybe you don't have the financial means to have 3 or 4 different supplements. So how can we use food to sort of be your supplement? So those are the kinds of things that we're talking about in an initial consultation with a holistic nutritionist. And then we come up with a plan. So that could mean lots of different things. A plan could mean a whole sort of nutrition and diet overhaul, but it could mean that I want you to just slow down and take 10, 15 minutes for yourself every day, or 5 minutes, depending on what your lifestyle looks like. It could mean that I'm recommending that you work with another health professional to get some testing that we can work with so that we can look a little bit deeper into your body and find out what's going on. Because like I said, I really want to get to that root cause. I'm not interested in throwing a Band-Aid on any condition. So yeah, like I said, it could mean, incorporating different supplements as well. So before we start, I just need to change my slide. One moment. There we go. Okay, so I missed that one. That is me. This is me, and I work here at the Peterborough Center of Naturopathic Medicine. And like I said, yeah, just a little disclaimer. This is general nutrition information. It is not meant to be a treatment for you, but to stimulate ideas to speak to your healthcare provider about. So let's get started. I've told you all about me and what I do, given your disclaimer. So what I'm going to do is just give you, I think I've got about 7 to 10 sort of different tips to get you thinking about small and simple lifestyle changes that you can make to get you feeling better so that you can age gracefully and live a life of vitality. Like I said, it's really important that we're waking up every day and we're living living the way that we want to live. And that's something that I talk to my clients about too, is what do you want? What do you want to do? And how can we get you doing that and get you feeling well enough to do that? So something that I'm really passionate about in my practice and in my personal life is small, simple, sustainable changes. Like I said, if I'm throwing a whole brand new diet at you and you've got 3 kids at home and you've got to get your partner on board and all these different things, that's not sustainable and that's not going to be helpful for you. And you're going to come see me and you're never going to come back because you're overwhelmed. So yeah, small, simple, sustainable changes. We're always tempted to do these big overhauls in our life. But if we can add little habits, once a week we implement drinking more water, which is the slide we've got in front of us now. Maybe the next week we're incorporating more fiber. Maybe the next week we're incorporating a 5-minute morning meditation. Those are the things that we're going to stack together, those habits. And then in a year's time, maybe you've created 20 different new habits and you've got the life that you were looking forward to having. So, yes, these tips are intended to bring you back to basics and get you a really great foundation that we can work with. So, the first tip is hydration. We know this is talked about all the time. We need to drink more water. We need to drink more water. But why do we need to drink more water? So, drinking more water does lots of different things. It's going to support your digestion, so that we're keeping your bowels moving. It's going to keep your joints lubricated, so that means you have a little bit less pain and discomfort and you feel more comfortable moving. It's going to help to regulate your body temperature, and it's going to get all these wonderful nutrients that you're eating into your cells. Because cells have this sort of membrane, this barrier. And if we're not drinking a lot of water, it's really hard and nothing can sort of get in there. So you want it to be nice and fluid so it can let all these wonderful nutrients and antioxidants and that kind of thing that you're introducing into your diet after you're done this talk, we want to get those into the cells. So we're drinking lots of water. And it also means that you're having a better sleep. And we're going to talk a lot about sleep as well because it's so important. But yes, number one, you're drinking lots of water. So you're looking, depending where you're at right now, maybe you're starting with 2 liters a day, working up to 2.5, 3 liters of water a day. And one of the most simple things is keeping your water bottle with you. I always have mine right by my side because for me, out of sight, out of mind, and then I'm going to get home at the end of the day and I'm going to be so thirsty. So you're keeping your water bottle with you. Another thing that I really encourage my clients to do is in the morning, if you're a coffee drinker, I know we all tend to sort of roll out of bed, like dreaming of that sweet coffee that we're going to have, but having water before coffee in the morning. So what I like to do is I will put a glass of water, like a 500 milliliter jar of water on my nightstand before bed. And that's the first thing I do when I wake up. I'm not even out of bed. Maybe I've gone for a quick pee, but usually I am like drinking that 500 milliliters of water right away. And you will be surprised at how that makes you feel. Like I said, it's lubricating your joints. It's getting all that energy into or nutrients into your cells. You feel that. And maybe that means you're having one less coffee. And we won't get too far into coffee today, but yeah, like if you're having multiple cups of coffee and you can sort of shave one off in a day by incorporating more water, I think you would be surprised with how you're feeling. So water before coffee in the morning. Herbal tea, we can include herbal tea in your sort of 2 to 3 liters of water per day. So whether it's like peppermint tea or something like that, whatever you enjoy. Black tea, Earl Grey tea, coffee, they don't count. They actually are diuretics. So they're sort of stealing water. So you actually want to replace that cup of coffee with a cup of water. So if you're having, we're saying 2 to 3 liters of water a day and you're having a coffee, then we're bumping that up even a little bit further. So as simple as it sounds to drink more water, it gets really boring. So keep it exciting, make it your own. Maybe you're adding some lemon to your water like I've got in the picture here, which is a great idea to do in the morning before your cup of coffee. Like I said, maybe you're adding some like mint into your water or cucumber, or maybe you're making an iced herbal tea and drinking that through the day just so that it's a little bit more fun. And then maybe instead of like a pop or flavored bubbly water or something like that, you're flavoring your own water and you're saving money and you're drinking lots more water. So yeah, keep it exciting, make it your own. Especially in the summer, if it's like just water, then it's harder to make that happen. Yeah, so next, like I said, we're going to talk about sleep. Sleep is so important. It's hard to choose. Is sleep more important or is water more important? But we're going to put it all together. So sleep is so important. So in a study where participants were sleep deprived, they were only sleeping for 4 hours a night. It was found that they were reaching for more carb-heavy foods, and that they were eating 300 to 400 more calories in a day. So why is this happening? So the reason that this happens, so you've got two sort of hunger hormones. You've got leptin and you've got ghrelin. Ghrelin is your hunger hormone that tells you that you're hungry. It stimulates your appetite. Leptin is your hunger hormone that tells you that you're satiated and that you've had enough to eat, and it's going to decrease your appetite. So when we're not getting enough sleep, so say you're being sleep deprived, and it doesn't have to be 4 hours a night, maybe it's 5 or 6 hours a night, and you're sleep deprived, you're reaching for those carb heavy foods and eating more calories because that ghrelin, that hunger hormone that says I'm hungry, I haven't had enough to eat and stimulate your appetite, it increases, and that leptin that tells you you're satiated, it decreases. So you're not set up for success in your day. So when you're prioritizing your sleep and you're getting enough sleep, you're setting yourself up so that you're reaching for the right foods throughout the day. And your blood sugar is not sort of out of whack. And that's something that we'll talk a little bit more about as well. So you want to look at getting, 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night. So another thing that happens when you're sleeping is growth hormone. So growth hormone is a little bit secreted during the day, but it is mostly secreted at night. So growth hormone is responsible, as you can see here, for stimulating tissue and liver regeneration, building muscle, breaking down your fat stores, and normalizing your blood sugar. So your growth hormone is going to decrease. Again, you're reaching for more, sugary foods because your blood sugar has spiked and has fallen, and you're in the state where you're like, I need something. Again, you're not set up for success. So when you're getting lots of sleep, as growth hormone is properly secreted and you're breaking down your muscle, you're building your muscle, you're breaking down your fat stores, you're supporting your liver, you're stimulating tissue regeneration, and you're normalizing your blood sugar. Okay, so how do you prioritize your sleep? So this is going to look different for everybody. But you really want to make your bedroom like a really sacred space. You want to keep your phone out of it. You want to, if you have a TV, get it out of there. You want to have like nice and dim lights. Maybe you've got a salt lamp in your room, or maybe, you've got a nice dim lamp that you can read by before bed. But you really want to make it this sort of safe haven that when you walk in there, it tells your body like, okay, we're relaxing now, we're going to maybe read a little bit of a book, maybe we're going to do a little bit of a meditation, and then we're going to go to sleep. So keep your bedroom for sleep only. Again, not bring your phone, your computer, your TV in there. Make it that safe haven. So you could also look at creating an evening routine before bed, and that could be something as simple as like, a 5-minute routine where, of course, you're like brushing your teeth, but you're taking some extra time and you're washing your face with a nice warm cloth, and just sort of creating that routine and telling your body, okay, it's time to relax now. So really prioritizing that. And like I said, that's going to look different for everybody. But ideally, you're not scrolling on your phone until you can't stay up anymore, or you're not falling asleep to the TV, because as you may have heard, that blue light that is from your phone and your TV is telling you that you're supposed to be awake. So melatonin is your sort of sleep hormone. That's what tells you you're tired and it's time to go to sleep. That's not really being produced when you're looking at screens and they're emitting that blue light. So you wanna sort of cut those almost an hour before bed. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk to you about is digestion. So health begins in the gut. You've probably heard this. There's this big connection between your gut and your brain. So your health begins in the gut, or disease begins in the gut. So you really want to pay attention to your digestion. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to slow down while you eat. Again, like I talked about, like the bedroom being sort of a sacred space, you kind of want your meal times to be this really sacred space. Maybe you're not like standing and eating, or shoving your breakfast in your face in the car on the way to work. You want to sit down, you want to take a minute, look at what you have in front of you. Whether it's like nice like chicken and salad, or like roasted vegetables and like some other kind of protein. You really want to take a look at what's in front of you, have a little moment of gratitude for that, because you know technically digestion begins in your mouth, but really I think it begins in your eyes, with looking at your food, because you are telling your body, okay, this is what we're going to do. So you want to slow down, you want to chew your food really thoroughly. You want to like create almost like a paste in your mouth before you're swallowing. You're not chewing like 5 or 6 times, swallowing and then putting the next bite in your mouth. You're really chewing, you're tasting your food, you're enjoying your food, and you're making it, because the bigger chunks that you're swallowing, if you're not chewing your food properly, they have less surface area, whereas if you're chewing into smaller chunks, they have a more surface area and there's more chunks. So it's easier for your stomach acid to break these things down and absorb these wonderful nutrients that you're eating. And yes, and then get those to the cells where they need to go and get you the energy and the vitality that you need. So you're taking a minute, you're walking away from what you're doing, you're taking a break at work, and you're going and you're looking at your food, appreciating it for just a moment. It doesn't have to be a long process. Just looking, you're like, okay, wow, look at this wonderful meal that I have in front of me. And you're chewing your food, and you're chewing it really thoroughly. Really, really important. So serotonin, we talked about melatonin, which is sort of like your sleep hormone, but also have serotonin, and that's like your happy hormone. And 95% of this hormone, serotonin, is produced in your gut, not in your brain, which is really interesting. And we're learning more about this gut-brain connection all the time. So you want to really make sure that you're paying attention to your digestion. So are you having a lot of heartburn? Well, then maybe you need to talk to someone about that, and we can figure out what's going on. A lot of the times, we think when we have heartburn that it's too much stomach acid that's coming back up. But actually what tends to happen when you have heartburn is that you don't have enough stomach acid. So that food is sort of sitting in your gut, and it's not being properly broken down, and it's sort of fermenting, and that's sort of what causes that digestive discomfort and upset, and those heartburn things. That's not all the time. Sometimes it is too much stomach acid, and that's why it's so important to work with a health professional to determine what is going on for you. But that's something to think about, because if in your case it is not enough stomach acid and you're getting that heartburn and you're taking Tums is shoving that stomach acid down even more. So it's doing the opposite effect of what you're really looking for, and really just, like I said, putting a band-aid on the problem rather than getting the root cause of what's going on. And it's not just heartburn that's the issue there, right? Like I said, you're not properly breaking down your food, so you're not properly absorbing nutrients, and then you're not. I want to talk about like the gut microbiome, which is something that we've talked about, and that's kind of along with the serotonin that's produced in your gut. You want to have, we're learning more and more about the amount of sort of good and bad bacteria that we have, and that we want a really good ratio of good bacteria to bad bacteria, so that good bacteria can protect us against that bad bacteria. And that's sort of where your gut microbiome comes in. So you're eating like, so maybe like fermented foods, and that's why probiotics have become so popular, and that is feeding those good bacteria so that we can crowd out those bad bacteria. But another way that you can do that is by eating fermented foods. So that's things like yogurt or kefir or sauerkraut or kimchi. There's lots of different fermented foods that you can have to feed that good bacteria in your gut and create a good and happy microbiome, so that you're producing more serotonin, and that means that you're going about your day a little bit happier, and that means that it's a little bit easier to make good decisions throughout your day when your mood is elevated. Because when our mood is low, if our digestion is unhappy and our mood is low, then we're going to be eating not so great foods that are making our digestion unhappy and our mood low and da 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 da. So, trying to like nip that vicious cycle in the bud and introducing things like fermented foods and slowing down while we eat can sort of help to break that. So, what have we got next? So again, slowing down. So that doesn't just come with eating your food. You really want to manage your stress. So a lot of times when I see my clients come to me, it is often for weight loss, and clients are coming to me and they're looking for this really strict meal plan. So I tell them what to eat and how many calories to have so that we're shaving that weight off, because it's calories in and calories out. And I really try to break that cycle, because yes, it is important to look at the amount of calories you're eating, because sometimes we're shocked by the amount that we're eating, whether that's not enough, which is often what can happen in the case of older women. But sometimes it's far too much. And sometimes, writing down and like tracking on an app for a short amount of time can sort of give you an idea of where you're at. Yeah, so for weight loss, like, that's not usually where I go. Oftentimes, the reason that we're holding on to weight in our body is because we're carrying so much stress in our body. And that's where I tend to start with clients, talking to them about what they've got going on, rating their stress level. Because if you're stressed, physically stressed, you've got a lot going on, again, that's going to go right back to your digestion, and your digestion is going to be stressed. So your nervous system, you've got a sympathetic and a parasympathetic nervous system. So your sympathetic nervous system is that fight or flight mode, and then your parasympathetic nervous system is that rest and digest mode. So you're either in fight or flight, or you're in rest or digest. You're not in both. So if you're constantly in fight or flight, you're not digesting properly. So you really want to slow down, and that could mean different things for different people. So you want to check in with yourself. You want to schedule time with yourself. This could look like, a 5-minute meditation for some, a 2-minute meditation, meet yourself where you're at, start with where you're comfortable. Or it could mean a 15-minute to an hour walk. It could mean just sitting down by yourself and reading a book. It can mean so many different things. So I always tell my clients, be selfish. Because I don't think, at least a lot of the times with the clients that I'm seeing, we're in such a go, go, go world that we've got so many things to do. And for other people, a lot of the time, and we forget to take care of ourselves. So then we're in that sympathetic fight or flight mode. We're not taking care of ourselves, and we can't make good choices. So just check in with yourself at some point, at least once a day. Do I need to move my body, whether that's a walk or yoga or, a fitness class? Do I want to take some time to meditate? And again, meditation doesn't have to be this big thing. You don't need a pillow to sit cross-legged on and a meditation room. Like, you can do that while you're walking. You can do it in your car for 1 minute. There's so many different ways to do that. Or maybe you're reading a book, or maybe you're just sitting down with your partner and having that chat with the TV off and not on your phone. So be really selfish. Ask yourself what you need and do that. Or, ask your partner, say, look, I'm having some trouble. Like, I really need to take time for myself. How can we sort out 15 minutes a day for me? Or tell your kids, like, if you've still got kids at home, look, I need 15 minutes a day by myself. What are you going to do? Is that when you give them that screen time, maybe? Or is that when you get them a book? Or is that when, they're playing in their toy room or something like that? So yeah, just really taking that time for yourself, because if you can't manage your stress and you're always up here in that fight or flight state, you're not in rest and digest mode. Your body's holding on to weight, and you're not feeling your best. So I want to talk about your blood sugar. So the graph that you can see here is what your blood sugar looks like on the standard American diet. So the standard American diet is like when you're eating lots of processed foods that are high in sugar and not so good fats. So that's what it looks like. You're waking up and maybe you're having like a donut and a coffee, and your blood sugar is spiking here. And what's going to happen is your insulin, as your like another blood sugar hormone, is meeting your blood sugar here and telling it to come back down, but it's pushing it way down. So then you're not going to feel so good. Your mood is low, your energy is going to be low, and you're going to be reaching for another donut and another coffee or something of the like. And then you're just on that roller coaster all over again. So, like I said, with your sleep, you want to set yourself up for success. So if you're maybe instead of, that donut and that coffee, you're replacing that with like overnight oats or something of the sort, where you've got your complex carbohydrates of like your oats, and you've got your nuts and your seeds in there. And then your blood sugar is going to look a little bit more like this. So we've still here got the standard American diet sort of high spikes, but underneath that in the gray, that's sort of how you want your blood sugar to look. Is like sort of a nice flow. You're not spiking so high. So you're waking up and you're having your water, and maybe you've added some lemon to that, and then you're having your coffee, and you're having like whole grain toast with some eggs on it and with some protein in there, or you're having your oats with some nuts and some seeds in there, or a smoothie with some protein and fat and fiber added into it. So that is what your blood sugar is going to look like. So that that's what you're having, then you are able to make better choices at lunch, and then you're able to make better choices for your afternoon snack or your dinner, or if you're having a little bit of a snack before bed. So that's really what you want your blood sugar to look like. And a way that you can do this, like I said, what I always say is protein, fat, and fiber. You want to make sure that's included. So a lot of the times, if say you're having a smoothie in the morning, it's like fruit, and like almond milk or dairy milk or something like that. But that's going to spike your blood sugar just as bad as that donut. So you want to include protein, fat, and fiber. So maybe you're adding a scoop of protein powder or some nut butter for your fat, and some spinach. Spinach is a great thing to sort of sneak into your smoothies. Because you barely really notice it there. So protein, fat, and fiber are things that you want to definitely be mindful of in the morning, but really throughout all of your meals. Okay, so we're talking about the importance of including protein with your breakfast. And the reason for that, like I mentioned, is you want to set your blood sugar off on the right start. You want to set yourself up for success for your day. So that means including protein with your breakfast. So oftentimes, and this may be a little bit repetitive, we had a little bit of a hiccup with our recording. So I just want to make sure I'm being really thorough. Oftentimes what happens is that, we're building a smoothie and you're throwing lots and lots of like fruit in there, and that's going to set your blood sugar off for a pretty big spike, similar to what it would be if you were maybe like having something like a donut for your breakfast. So what you want to do is build your smoothie to include protein, fat, and fiber, or really any breakfast, making sure that you're including those three things, because those are going to level out your blood sugar and stop it from spiking so high. And that's going to mean that you're feeling better. Because if you're not spiking your blood sugar, you're not having that big crash. So then you're feeling better. But also, if you're not having that big crash, your body's not telling you like, I need carbs right now. Get me anything. It doesn't matter what it is. So again, you're setting yourself up for success in that day. So whether you're building a smoothie in that way, whether you're making like quiche cups or something like that, whether you're making sort of like a breakfast patty that you can easily grab. And this goes for whether you're retired and you're at home, or whether you're going to work for the day or working from home for the day. You can still meal prep. It doesn't really matter, because the important thing is that, again, you've set yourself up for success. You're hungry. You're not going, oh my gosh, I know I'm supposed to have like protein, fat, and fiber, but I don't really know what I should have, and I don't really know what I feel like, and I don't really have anything in the fridge that's easy. But if if your past self has done your future self a favor, you've got a smoothie recipe ready to go. You've got quiche cups in the fridge. You've got breakfast patties or whatever it may be. Maybe you've got hard boiled eggs made, so that's really easy for you, and you just need to maybe make a piece of toast or something like that to go with that. So yes, that will again set you up for success for the day. So we talked a little bit about fermented foods before. So we were talking about digestion and how important it is to support your microbiome and feed that good bacteria, crowd out that bad bacteria. And it's yogurt, kefir, kimchi or sauerkraut, apple cider vinegar, tempeh. Those are really good whole food fermented foods. And that's sort of, like probiotics are something people that often do, but to make it just a little bit more accessible, I like to talk about fermented foods. So that's something I would like you to try to add to your everyday, whether that's, a little bit on the side of every meal. Maybe you're having, a nice unsweetened yogurt for breakfast with some nuts and some seeds and a little bit of fresh or frozen fruit added to it. Um, Another good way to get sort of higher protein if you really enjoy your yogurt is to have a nice unsweetened Greek yogurt. And if you want some sweetener added, add some natural sweeteners like honey or maple syrup, or like I said, fresh or frozen fruit. Um, but that's a really good way to feed that microbiome. Or maybe you're adding kimchi or sauerkraut to the side of your lunch or your dinner. Maybe in that lemon water that you're having in the morning, you're adding just a little bit of apple cider vinegar. So something I would like you to do if you're taking notes on this is to include fermented foods every day, or as much as possible. And you do want to start slow, I will say, with fermented foods. Yogurt maybe is a little bit different, but if you're having kefir or sauerkraut, kimchi or apple cider vinegar for the first time, and you're having a large amount, it can be a bit of a shock to the system and you might have a little bit of digestive upset. So kefir, maybe you're having just like a quarter cup or a couple of tablespoons. Kimchi or sauerkraut, same thing, just a couple of tablespoons. Apple cider vinegar, maybe just like a half a tablespoon or 1 tablespoon. And tempeh, generally you shouldn't have too much of an issue with that. So your plate. So you've got your plate here. We just talked, we're going to add fermented foods to that plate. But half of our plate is going to be non-starchy vegetables. So whether that's leafy greens or cruciferous vegetables being like broccoli or kale or cabbage, that kind of thing. That's half of your plate. Not half of your plate is not your carbs, your pasta, your rice. It's your greens. So find ways that you enjoy them. Don't make it something that you really don't want to do. Are you maybe like steaming vegetables? You don't have to have raw kale. I do want to say that. Sometimes that's really uncomfortable for people. They might not like actually enjoy it, but their digestion just might not be set up for that, because that is really hard to break down. So find something that you enjoy and that feels good on your digestion. Really pay attention to your digestion, and honor your body in that way. So you've got half of your vegetables, a quarter of cup is going to be your protein, and a quarter of your plate, and a quarter of your plate is going to be your sort of complex carbohydrates. So that's whole grain rice, whole grain pasta, potatoes, that kind of thing. And one thing that you don't see pictured on this plate is like a little bit of healthy fat. So whether that's a tablespoon or two of oil, so like maybe you're drizzling olive oil over your salad or your veggies, that can be on top of whatever olive oil or oil that you've cooked with. So you want a little bit of healthy fat. So maybe that's like a quarter or a half or something of an avocado as well. So making sure that you're including that. So that's another change that I want to encourage you to make. So we also want to focus on whole foods rather than processed foods. Again, that's all about planning in advance. So if you don't, maybe you're home and you have time to cook, but you just don't really feel like it, then find simple ways. I love a sheet pan dinner. So I take a big baking sheet. I'm going to put my chicken on it. I'm going to put my frozen PC broccoli on it, and I'm going to throw it in the oven. And that's it. I'm all about simple. I'm not big on big extravagant dinners. Sometimes that's enjoyable to pick a recipe and learn something new and create this big beautiful meal, but 9 times out of 10 I'm doing like that sheet pan dinner or something like that. So yeah, whether just keeping it simple for yourself, meet yourself where you're at. I think that's so important. So whole foods over processed foods. Instead of minute rice, maybe you're going to like Bulk Barn or Joanne's Place or something like that, where you're buying, a bulk bag of rice and you're cooking that from scratch. And maybe you're doing a big batch of that on like a Sunday, to have that available for you for the week. Yeah, so just sort of focusing on that, and that's going to eliminate a lot of nasty ingredients that you really don't need to have in your food. And if cooking isn't something that's accessible for you, there's different meal services and options in town for people who can help you to prepare those things as well. So the other thing that I would like to talk about and would like to encourage you to be mindful of is your fiber intake. So you've got sort of two different kinds of fiber. You've got your soluble fiber that absorbs water. So that's going to sort of go into your digestion, your intestines, and absorb water and add sort of some bulk a little bit to your stool. So that's why if you're increasing your fiber, you're hydrating as well. You're getting that sort of 2 to 3 liters of water a day. And then that's your soluble. You've got your insoluble fiber. So this does not absorb water, but what it does, it kind of acts as like a brush to your intestines. So the insoluble fiber is sort of going into your intestines and brushing the edges and cleaning things up, and the soluble fiber is sort of absorbing those things so that we can flush them out because we're having a bowel movement ideally every day. That ideally every day. A lot of people, I think I mentioned a little earlier, that a lot of people say, oh, my normal is like once every few days or once a week kind of thing. And that is not your normal. It might be common, but it's not normal. So you're ideally going to the bathroom every day. And a good place to start, if that's something that you're having trouble with, is that water intake that we talked about and the fiber intake. But you definitely don't want to up your fiber if you're not going to up your water, because that is not doing yourself any favors. You're just going to add more bulk to your stool, but you're going to have no sort of lubrication to get that out. So the other thing to be mindful of, including in your day, is antioxidants. So what an antioxidant is, so there's we probably heard of this, but I'm going to explain it just in case, because I think a lot of the times these buzzwords sort of go around and we don't really understand. We know that antioxidants are good for us, but we don't really know why. So antioxidants are good for us because they what you say, donate an electron or you know help clean up free radicals. So free radicals are like, say, maybe toxins, whether those are taken on or absorbed externally through our environment or produced internally through our body, and that's totally normal. We can't avoid that. Definitely not with the world that we're living in now, but even before, our body's always sort of has these normal biological processes, and byproducts of those are toxins. So these toxins are sort of like free radicals, and they go around and they're missing an electron. And I won't get too deep into that, but because they're missing sort of an electron, they're going around looking for one. They're wreaking havoc on our body, trying to balance themselves. But what antioxidants do is they donate an electron, so they sort of balance that free radical, so it's not going around and wreaking havoc in our body anymore. So you can include antioxidant-rich foods, and they don't have to be anything fancy like acai powder, acai berries, or anything like that. Blueberries. Blueberries are an excellent source of antioxidants. What I like to do is buy a big frozen bag of blueberries and keep them in the freezer, and maybe I'm adding those to my yogurt, or maybe I'm adding those to a smoothie or something like that, sometimes even a salad. Blueberries are a great way to get some good antioxidants in. Your leafy greens also have lots of antioxidants as well. Um, so that's something that you could be mindful of including in your day. So just to recap, we want to include fermented foods. We want to include antioxidants. Half of our plate is filled with vegetables, and we've got some healthy fat on our plate as well. And we're including fat, fiber, and protein in our meals. So fiber, you want your soluble fiber, so that absorbs your water. So things like chia seeds are a soluble fiber, like the inside of an apple would be a soluble fiber, and the outside of the apple is your insoluble fiber, so that peel. And if you're not eating the peel of your apple or your potatoes, if it's an organic potato, go ahead and eat that peel. If it's not organic, give it a good scrub, and then go ahead and eat that peel, because again, that's your insoluble fiber. But also, there's lots of wonderful vitamins and minerals that are found in the peel generally as well. Okay, so next, I want to really encourage you to find support. So that could mean different things. So maybe that's, a buddy in your neighborhood, or a friend. Like, I know it's really hard for us to connect with people right now, but um, you know, figure out how that best works for you. So it's really all about accountability. So if I say to my friend, hey, I my goal right now is that I want to incorporate meditation into my everyday just because, it's things are a little crazy right now and I want to be able to bring myself back down and present myself in this world sort of as like a calming presence. I don't want to get all jacked up with everybody else with what's going on. So that is my goal. So I said to a friend, I said, this is my goal. And I said, please hold me accountable. Ask me about it. I want to talk about it. So I'm saying, hey, I meditated this morning, and I'm getting back like, yeah, great for you. They've got a goal as well, and they're checking in with me about that. So find a buddy to check in with. If you can't find a buddy, check in with me. I'm going to share my email with you. I would love to hear what you're working on. I also have social media that I would share with you. I would love to hear what your goals are and how they're doing. If I can support you sort of quickly in that, I'm happy to do that. If it means we're working together to figure out what your goals are and that I can support you, I would love to do that. If you are working, maybe you're creating a group at work or you've got a coworker, maybe there's sort of a Facebook group that you can become a part of. So advocate for yourself and find support so you have that accountability, because think about where you want to be in, it doesn't even have to be a year, in 3 months, and say, okay, if I want to be, maybe you're not moving so well and your joints are sore and you're thinking, okay, so the first step that I can take to make my joints feel a little bit better is I want to lubricate my joints. I want to drink more water. So you're finding someone to say, hey, I want to drink more water. My goal is I'm going to start at, I'm drinking like 1 glass a day. I want to get up to, I want to start at 1 liter. Here's my goal. And see how you can build on those goals so that in 3 months you can just feel a little bit better. So, set yourself up for success again, by finding a buddy and creating some accountability for yourself. Okay, so that is all that I have for you today. I hope that those are some really helpful tips for you. Like I said, you want to age gracefully. We're all aging. I heard somebody say, and it was a quote from a name that I can't think of, but we're all walking together with each other. So and we all know where we're going. So we want to do that as gracefully as possible and with as much vitality as possible. So I hope that those are some helpful tips for you. If there is any way that we here at Peterborough Center of Naturopathic Medicine can support you, please reach out. If you would like to work with me, please reach out. I've got my Instagram, if that's something anybody is part of down here. I've got my email. Like I said, if you want me to be, a little bit of an accountability buddy for you, I've got my email here. You can reach out here at the clinic, Peterborough Center of Naturopathic Medicine as well, and we would love to help you meet your goals. So thank you so much for listening. If you've come this far, and I hope you have a beautiful day, a beautiful summer, and I hope I get to meet you soon.